Proverbs 27:17 says, as iron sharpens iron, so a man sharpens the countenance of his friend. When we hear this, we usually picture a man. But today, you are going to hear how that sounds when four women sit down and tell the truth about the lives they are actually living. We all had an idea of what life would look like: our marriage, motherhood, work, friendship, faith. Somewhere in our minds, there was a picture, a plan, a path that felt clear. And then real life showed up with detours we did not see coming, with doors that did not open when we thought they would, with roles we never imagined we would carry, and some we thought we would have had by now, but do not. Some days it feels like too much. Other days it feels like not enough. And most days we are still putting one foot in front of the other, trying to make sense of the path we are on. In part one, you met my sisters and heard how our stories first began to intertwine. In part two, we are talking about the path we are walking right now, not the path we planned, the one we are actually on. The questions we have, the pressure we feel, the quiet prayers we pray, the laughter that still finds its way in, and the grace that keeps pulling us forward, even when we are not sure where this is leading. And if you have ever looked at your life and thought, I did not think the path would look like this conversation right here is for you. Great things, great things, great things. Welcome in to Words on a Higher Note, the podcast rooted in faith, abundance, and the kind of personal growth that meets you where you are. With every reflection, we reset, we rise, and we remember who we really are beneath the layers. I'm your host, Jaylyn, and I am glad you're here. Let's pick up where we left off in part one of our living conversation on the strength of sisterhood through season series. I'm joined by three of my dearest friends, Denise, Joan, and Yvette. And you met them in part one, but let me tell you who they are to me. Yvette, she reflects the beginning, my roots, my innocence, the first versions of me. Denise reflects my journey, my learning, my stretching, the balancing of life as it happens. And Joan reflects the spirit, my faith, my rhythm, the conversations that remind me who God is shaping me to be. Each one shows me what sisterhood can be and is. A quick note: this conversation touches briefly on mental health challenges, grief, addiction, and suicide. We approach these with care, but if these topics seem to be too much for you to hear at this time, please press pause and come back when you are ready. In this segment, we're discussing the path we are walking: growth, transitions, identity, marriage, parenting, and how the trials and experiences of life will change your outlook on everything, including yourself. This one, this part, this reflection is for every woman, every person who has had to unlearn something to move forward, who has had to let go of someone to protect their peace, who is navigating and trusting what's next and learning to be okay with not knowing what's next. I need for you to pull up a seat and I want us to reflect together. How's everybody doing?
Good.
Good. Wow.
All right. How has friendship changed for you over the years, from teenagers to young adults to now? How has it changed?
I value friendship more. My circle is smaller than what it was. And My best friend lives in my house.
That's good though.
Yeah, he's here. It's just really much smaller. I understand now the difference between friends and acquaintances, or friends and associates.
Yeah.
When I was younger, I didn't know how to tell the difference. For the most part, my true friends are the ones that are still here. And I realize that. I look back, those friendships are still those friendships. Everybody wasn't your friend.
Yes, I would have to agree with Yvette to a point of when she talked about the circle. As Joyce know me, I'm always bubbly. I'm friends with everybody. I'm trying to do everything for everyone. And I've been blessed because I'm a only child. And I noticed that I would have relationships and friendships with people who had a lot of people, family and children, because I wanted that. I liked that. I wanted that. And I always was friendly with everyone. But I had to grow and learn that, like you said, friendships is something different, a bond, a sisterhood. It's more than just the surface, it's deeper than that. And when you have trials and tribulations in your life, or they have, and you're there for one another, and once that starts happening, then you understand what a true relationship and friendship is. My circle became smaller as well because you realize what a true bond of a relationship is. I'll give an example of a sister. I was so terrified to do this procedure that I had to do. It was a test. And the love that she had for me, the doctor allowed her to come in and sit there and just be there while they were doing the procedure. That's a true sisterhood. And I have a number of friends. When I say it got smaller, it's still a large circle, but I mean, it's not big like before. I know that these sisters got my back. Like when you said you can call Joyce in the middle of the morning. Me and Joyce have called each other in the middle of the morning. I have called sisters. I know I can just go to their house 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning and they got me. That's when you know those are the things we need to be grateful for because they're hard to find, especially in today's world. I don't know, it seems so different. It's not the same now. Even those same friends that are so close, we don't have the time to kind of nourish the relationship anymore. Maybe it's because I think that the weight of the world is heavy and life be life in. So there's not enough room for yourself, let alone to extend and give a little bit to the people that you love outside of your immediate family. I think that's a big part of it as well. We just don't have it to extend. We're tired. I know I am, and I want to, but physically and mentally, I just don't have it in me sometimes.
Joe?
The saying that Yvette mentioned earlier, you're gonna find out who your friends are, is a phrase that would pop up in my life every once in a while. And when it pops up, I know that that means that I'm getting ready to find out somebody may not be the friend I thought they were. And initially, when it started, I would regret hearing it. But as I got older, I'm like, okay, I was able to handle it better to know that somebody was going to be leaving. And I realized that with time, things change. And sometimes your attitudes about something, your thoughts about something, you may grow, they may not grow, they may grow, and you may not grow. Everybody's on the phone now. In high school, I had friends, physical friends. As I've gotten older, a lot of my friends are on the phone. Joyce and I think we've met twice since like 2020, something like that. But it's just lives. But what I'm also appreciating and learning. We may not see each other every day anymore because we used to work together. We may not see each other anymore, but we're still on the phone and the conversations are still strong. And with other ladies too, the conversations are still strong. We may not see each other. Shoot, I haven't seen my cousins in almost 3 years now, but we talk just about every day. Well, not every day, but we talk at least twice a week. I'm her call when she's going on her way to her different groups and stuff at night. Can you ride? I'm like, yeah. We just, or she's going to the store, going shopping. You want to go shopping with me? Sure. We had to figure out a different way to do it. But yeah, everybody's on. A lot of people are on the phone. The group got smaller, but we're still in contact, and that's what's important.
All right. As a child, I was very, very particular about who I engaged with. And as I got older, and I was guarded because I was able to, I guess, see people for who they were. Certain energies I just stayed away from. As I got older, I could still detect people, but I wasn't as guarded because I felt as if I should just kind of, I guess, kind of open up a little bit more. As I've gotten into my later years, I've gone back to the way I was as a child. And I'm very select about who I engage with. I started out one way, I expanded my circle, but then realized that everybody that was in that circle really did not need to be in there. I had to close it up. And sometimes that comes with parting ways with people who you've known for decades. And you have to be okay with that. Because we need people in our space who is for us and who we can be for. What has surprised you most about womanhood or wifehood or motherhood? What has surprised you most about womanhood, wifehood, or motherhood?
I had to unlearn a lot of things that I learned.
Mm.
A lot of things that I thought were how you did things or how things went. I had to unlearn a lot of things. One time my husband said, do you ever think that you make me angry or you make me upset? Oh,
Like,
no.
how dare you?
What do you mean? So I had to learn. And then somebody was talking about being a wife and certain things that you were supposed to do, housely things, things around the house or whatever. I'm like, seriously? Oh, you really got to do that? Or talking? You really have to do that? Okay. I didn't know y'all was serious. So I had to learn how to communicate. I'm still learning. We both are. I guess in ways too when he's serious about stuff. Sometimes I may take something lightly. He's very serious about it. I'm like, oh, you mean that? So just to unlearn a lot of things, unhealthy habits that I didn't really realize they were unhealthy.
I guess I would say that in our teachings, Joyce, we're taught that sometimes God will send you a mate that reflects the things that you need to work on. So it counteracts and challenges you daily.
Mm-hmm.
And like you said as well, some learned and unlearned things because your mama said high money for this and that. They were always setting up for it not to work in my mind. Our parents are beautiful and wonderful people, but we can't keep transferring over all those positive and negative, depending upon what it is. And some things you will apply to your marriage. But I'm learning a lot. And my mother and them came from the line of, he ain't this, he ain't that. We don't need no man in our lives. They were all strong single women. I don't need no man that I gotta take care. I don't need no man that I don't need no man. Now I have to work through that. And I was a single mom,
And you
two
had
sons. My son is what, 40, 44, and 32, and taking care of an elderly mom. Listen, I don't need no headaches. I can do this by myself. But that's not the way of life. That's not the healthiest way of life. And it comes with a struggle. There's the good and the bad in the marriage. And I'm trying to learn and I'm still working on that and still, like you said, learning.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be a learning journey until we both leave this earth. It's because we're constantly growing and developing. Well, in this case, I got married. I only been married now 7 years, Joyce. Yeah, going on 7 years. But when you're younger, you meet somebody, and now that's that stage. Then when you have children, it's another level. Then the children are growing up. Now it's another level. Now I'm in a whole totally another level where two separate lives. You have children, I have children. Now we get married in our late 50s. So this is a whole nother dimension that I don't even know about. So it's constantly evolving.
Mm-hmm. So
So I don't know, unless y'all got some words of wisdom out there. I'm just going to work through this.
Okay. I'd met people like my husband, but they weren't mine. My son, and I'll say this, my son actually gave me away at my wedding. If you knew my son wouldn't give his mama to nobody.
I did.
I had to figure out how to deal with the real man
Oh boy.
because I was the one, I'd rather move furniture around the house than wash dishes. Okay. I work two jobs
Mm-hmm.
rather than wash dishes. I had never met a man who was enough of a man, we'll say that, where I was okay. For so long, I paid all my bills. I dated, but nobody can ever tell you they bought something for my son. You may pay a light bill, you ain't buying nothing for my child. I'm taking care of mine. That's just what I did. Finally, you said something earlier about submitting. Yeah, I had to learn that. Joyce will tell you, and I honestly believe this. I am very easygoing. How you see me on here, that's me. Okay. That's just me. That's me all day, every day. I ain't got time.
Mm-hmm.
And I just had to learn that, ooh, okay, he's for real. You
Mm.
know, he's real. I have minds. There was a young lady who was amazed that all of my check went into my checking account and all of his check goes into our checking account. And she was like, well, what do you have? What do you mean? We live in the same house. Why wouldn't I? Yeah, he's more apt to come in here and say, hey, you need some money here. Keep that in your pocket. And before, I wouldn't do that. I wasn't doing that. But now I have somebody that actually I'm free to be able to do that now. And I had never, and we've only been married for, oh, I say only, but we've been married 20 years. And I'd never, but I've seen healthy relationships, but my mother was never in one.
Mm.
This will tell you, God is in the blessing game, y'all, because my mother, Joyce will tell you, my mother was very outspoken, very, very outspoken. My mother used to cuss so much and so
Mhm.
hard, she'd make sailors blush on Fleet Week, okay? My mother actually, she liked my husband so well that she told me one day, she said, don't you ever step out on him.
Mm.
I knew if anybody had to go, it would have been me. It would have been me. But I learned how to figure out he was a real man. There's nothing he wouldn't do for me,
Yeah.
but he's also not afraid to say, no, you can't have that. You can't do that. I've been trying to convince this man I need another dog. Ooh, he
How
won't
many
give
do
it to
you have
me.
already?
Tom,
How many do you have already?
my dog passed. I had him
Oh,
for 11 years.
oh,
But Mr. Man says, because eventually I'm going to retire and he wants to travel and he ain't up for paying.
yeah.
now,
Real,
now that's what my husband's
real
stingy.
man making a real decision. I got you.
Yes. And then the other thing that I've learned about being a mother, I had to learn that I had to hold my temper sometimes because I expected so much more from him.
Mm,
I really had to learn how to do things different from what was done with me. I had to learn how to feed into him
mm,
the things that I wanted, I needed to manifest in him.
mm,
Because within the Black community, if you're not taught, you don't know how to do certain things. And there were just certain things I did not know how to do. But I know he only came in my house one time high.
mm.
My ex-husband actually, he was like, okay, that's enough. Stop. Stop. What Teresa tell you, I cut down a whole tree.
Oh, mm,
But, those are things in the past.
mm,
I learned certain things about being a mother. I just had to learn how to help him be a man.
okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, it's interesting that we all went to wifehood. That was very interesting. So I'm glad Yvette, she was in the wifehood, but she went to motherhood. We all, because I was thinking wifehood as well. I think that as a wife, I'm learning to appreciate my husband because he has sacrificed so much to allow me to do me. And initially, it was for me to be a stay at home mom. And I did that for 14 years. And the only reason it stopped at 14 is because I decided I wanted to go back to work. He has held us down for, I guess my daughter, she'll be 30. So for the past 30 years, and I've been married 31 years financially. He's held us down to allow me to do things that I do that is financially challenging. And I thank him for that. I know I probably don't tell him that enough. And when I do tell him, he looks at me a little weird.
What you talking about?
Right.
But again, it's just being a man and knowing what his responsibility is,
Mm,
because that's his thing. What's his responsibility? As far as taking care of his family, that's his goal. Now, being a mother, I'm learning to let go. I'm learning that these are adults. I really don't have that much control over them anymore. I have to look at them as adults. They're my children, but I have to look at them and respect their opinion, their outlook, and how they want to maneuver their life. That's what I'm dealing with motherhood. Denise, what are you doing over there?
I'm trying to refrain myself from saying anything. When I heard Yvette mention motherhood, I was like, oh my God, that's a big part of my whole life. How did I forget motherhood? But I think because marriage is so different than motherhood,
mm-hmm.
marriage is you bringing two individuals, different backgrounds, different lifestyles, and you trying to bring two people into one. Whereas motherhood is something that is a natural thing. It's something that you nurture yourself in your womb. So we automatically know how to give it and nurture it and care for it. But this adult thing is a little different. This is not somebody I gave birth to. This is someone I got to work together with. But I want to address
Sometimes
motherhood.
it feels like it.
Well, I will say this too. When Yvette was mentioning about husbands, um, my husband, my children are very protective. I have two male children, and I had them
Same.
young.
I had one.
Yeah, and I had them young, 16, and they were very protective of me. But when I was getting ready to marry my husband, they love him. Everybody, and I'm like, okay, so he must be the one because they really didn't care for anyone else. So I would say that my husband, and he balances me. He definitely balances me. And he also says to me all the time, I know what I was doing when I married you because I know I am a lot. I have a lot of energy and I am a lot. He just knows how to deal with me and handle me. And he's the man, but he's not loud. He's quiet, mild mannered. If anything, I'm the one that's louder, outgoing, bubbly, all over the place. But him, and he does it in such a way that we can be out somewhere and he'll just stand to the side and he'll just wait patiently. And I'm like, well, why didn't you tell me you were ready? When you were finished, you'll come to me. And just knowing his presence and the way he manages that showed me a whole different side of a man that I have never experienced. I just wanted to say that as well because I appreciate that. And with my children, being a young mom, I come to realize that when Joyce was saying that they're adult children and we can no longer control them, but I also realize that we're just a vehicle for God to use to bring them into this world. And then they're his children. They're
Oh,
not.
why can't we? Because
I know, I got you. I got you. I listen, every
girl,
day I'm saying that. I
I
know.
got one and he's 40, and it's like, oh, but you're not supposed to do it that way. Do this. I
I
see it
got it. I
coming a
got it.
mile away.
My son is
Boy,
44 and married, and I have a 10-year-old grandson. And I just want to dictate and tell. But you know what? I realized that just like we had our trials and we had to walk our lives, and they couldn't interfere because God has specific things for us to go through for our own personal growth. And He has specific things for them to experience, to grow and go through. And I really had to tell myself that because I was getting myself worked up and wanting to control and feeling defeated. Did I do the right thing? Because I raised two male children, and we can never teach two male children how to be a man. We can raise them, but we cannot teach them how to be men.
that's,
And
yeah, yeah, you're
so
right.
I just now in my prayers, I said, God, give them wherever I wasn't able to give them what they need to be the men that they need to be, the men that they need to become. And me now trusting you, pray to Him, pray to God, our children. And I always say that my mom's prayers saved me many a days. So now I have to say that walk I will do as my prayers will save them. Just making prayer and asking God to guide them, help make them make the right decision. Because at this point, they're gonna live their lives.
Yeah.
And they gotta go through their own trials. Because I'm crying for some of their trials, but I can't walk it, just like they couldn't walk mine.
My son, his father wasn't there. He did his thing, and that's okay. It's not okay, but it's okay because I did that, and I don't have any regrets on how I did it. I had one, he tried to populate the world. I got four grandchildren. But he's in the house with them. My daughter-in-law, she's not who I would have chosen. She's not who my husband would have chosen. And he's much more laid back and easygoing than I am. But he flat out said it. He says, I'm not going to have anybody else over my children, Ma. I'm like, okay. And he made it a point to be there because what he said was is he knew he knew that feeling and he wanted his boys to know him. And I was like, okay. All right.
That's real man stuff too.
Yeah. 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 I worried about him. Lord knows I worried about him. But he has turned out to be totally different. And Joyce, this will let you know how nice my husband really is. My sister Treese likes him.
That's good.
She doesn't like anybody, y'all. My sister does not like anybody. Nobody. She don't even like me, and I'm her sister. Okay. What?
I said, leave her alone.
Whatever. You
So
you
I
knew
just,
she
huh?
you know she was difficult growing up.
She spoke her mind, and I definitely appreciate that. So I just want to point out, since we were talking about children, that I am the only one who gave birth to a female. All you got males. Yeah.
I ain't want no girl.
Uh, okay.
I was scared.
Oh, girls are good. I mean,
Mm-mm.
not that guys, not that boys aren't, but nah,
No.
girls, no.
Mm-mm. My mother said I was terrified. She said, "You just scared you're gonna have one like you."
That's what my mother said.
But my mother always thought I was her good girl. She said, "You're my good girl." I was like, "Ooh, I had you fooled." I did my job well.
Mm. All right, since we're talking about children, there's just this one more question. Mm. Parenting in this era. Now, our children are older. We know that they're older, right?
Hmm.
Parenting in this era, the modern landscape, and how we navigated from the 90s and through the 2020s, right? It looks very different because your children, well, my children are part of the younger group out of our children here. But they were born towards the end of the 90s. Well, so much has shifted since then. So much has shifted in the last 30 years. Technology, the mental health awareness, gender roles, societal expectations. What's something you had to unlearn or relearn as a parent while raising your children through those transitions? I'll start.
Please.
Being open, being more open to things that I don't agree with, things that I don't necessarily get. I just don't get. It's like, what? And I have to give credit to Atia, my daughter, who has helped me to see things a little differently. Not that I agree with them, all right, but just to see it differently. I've had to grow in that instance of being able to even have a conversation with her or even with people on that level, those children. I used to work with children. You have to learn their language in order to be able to communicate with them. Because I want to have an open relationship with them, I had to open up. I'll just say that. I couldn't stay closed into what I thought and what I believed.
I would say that my mother's from the South and she was older. She had me older. And growing up, my mother didn't talk at all. So she didn't share. I had to learn a lot of things from the street. It was very important for me to have a very open dialogue with my children to the point where it was like, Ma, TMI, TMI, TMI. Right. But I wanted it to be always be where you could come to me with anything because the last thing I wanted them to do is get advice from the street where I got it from. And although I didn't understand everything, and I would tell them, I may not agree with it and I may chastise you, but I want you to understand that come to me because I'm open for you. I'm here. And like Joyce said, things that we're not quite ready for, like Itia was to her, my youngest son is to me. He explored and dealt with a lot of things early. He went to Morehouse at 16. He's experienced a lot, very advanced. And he would tell me now, he constantly tells me, Mom, you can't think like that. You can't be like that. Even now, when I'm dealing with a family member, they help you to see things differently because their thinking pattern is different. We're kind of rigid in our thinking pattern, right? Even like Joyce went with me, and this is where one of the times where I could say that's why I said Joyce was not judgmental. Anyone else, I wouldn't have shared that moment with them. to come to my cousin who is not in a good state. And I wouldn't have let anyone in on that, but I did with her. And dealing with her sometimes, I didn't realize I'm very patient, I'm very loving, but I don't know if it's I keep blaming it on the menopause or if it's just I'm tired and I don't have the patience, but dealing with her kind of made me a little frustrated and agitated. And it reminded me of a past of dealing with someone who was abusive in drugs. So she brings back
Those feelings.
those feelings. Yeah. So then I lose patience with her. And my son, he goes, Mom, you have to lead with love. And I'm like, he be here dropping diamonds on me. And I'm like, but I have to go back and be like, he is so right. And then now when I see her do something, okay, Denise, here we go. I gotta kind of talk to myself, lead with love, lead with love. And when I realize when I do that, I actually feel better. And I actually realize some people can't help like drugs and all those things. It's addiction that they don't really have control over. It's called them. Even with us, then I had to bring it to myself. Okay, I'm gonna work out every day. And guess what? Just like they in their mind say that they want to stop that drug, they have a moment where they regress. I have to remember that and not be judgmental or punish the person for that and show love just like God does. Because if he didn't show love and mercy to us, where would we all be?
Girl.
I guess, like Joyce said, just being open to understanding things differently now because it's a lot going on. A lot. Our children are dealing with a lot of mental illnesses.
Mhm.
The people around us, I've known a couple of people that committed suicide. It's just a lot going on. We have to now be open minded to be able to be supportive for one another.
You say that, the suicide thing. Do y'all remember a time where in our community,
It was not
you
acceptable.
didn't hear that?
Nope.
You didn't, that wasn't something we do. But I can say this. We are the least likely. So if anything ever happens and they say Yvette did, no, she didn't. No, she didn't. Don't believe it. don't don't believe it. Okay, y'all look. Check the teeth, the fingernails, and the toenails. Something's going on here. Okay,
The
but
best.
no, like now, I am so grateful that I'm not raising my child in these days. I don't know. I don't understand. They thought I was a helicopter mom. They knew if something was going on at the school, I had the ladies in the front office. They used to be like, "She going out the back, Yvette. She going out the back. Go ahead, catch her." Because the principal and them knew. Hold up. You say what? Explain to me what's going on. You're gonna tell me, explain this. What's going on? Now, half these people, I don't think it's so much that they don't care. Teachers aren't what they used to be.
Mhm.
Teachers are not what they used to be, and neither are parents.
No.
I don't know. This landscape that these kids are growing up in, it's scary that they have so much put on them. There is so much, and they see and know so much more. I used to get my grandsons, my two grandsons, and my granddaughter. And then we would get, my husband has a set of twins, a boy and a girl, and then he had his older son. And we would get them for the summer. Their parents had 2 months without them because they came and they stayed with us the entire time. I had my 11-year-old granddaughter for a week. I'm here to tell you, listening to the conversations, it was her and her two cousins. And I had to catch myself because my granddaughter's, I regressed. I became my mother again for a minute because she called her cousin a liar. She said, "You're a lie." And she was loud. What she didn't understand is the only female voice you're going to hear raised in here is mine. And if you disagree with her, you're not going to talk to her like that. There's a certain amount of respect that kids don't have nowadays for each other. Where did it go? We would fight, y'all. Y'all know we used to fight. We would have a fight, do whatever we was gonna do, and we were friends the next day. Now they unaliving each other. And I used to say, oh, they don't no, they understand. That's the scary thing.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't no.
They're not taught to value life because when you're able to take someone's life that's someone else's child, like you said, you will argue, make up, you'll be friends. It's retaliation now. It's a whole different mindset now. And my grandson is still very sheltered. And when you mention grandchildren, I worry, but he's just now started walking to school, walking back home from school. And he's 10, but he was very sheltered. His mom and them took him to school. They drive him to private school and this and that. My children, we lived in the hood. We weren't of the hood, but we lived in the hood. They had no other choice. They knew how to maneuver through that. He is very sheltered from that, and I worry because though you don't want your children to have that aspect, but I think that they knew how to survive better. I'm a little concerned about him surviving, and he's really not on the train. I'm in New York, so you learn the streets,
Hurry, you learn
real
them
quick,
streets.
and he's not. You
Are
know,
all of you in New York?
Yeah.
I am. I don't know where.
Everybody is.
Hmm.
Oh, okay.
I
And I'm
left
in
a
Brooklyn, but
long time
New
ago.
York is different. There's a New York, and then there's different parts of New York, so
No,
it
no,
could be
baby.
a
I grew up straight
extreme.
up in Brooklyn.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Good. Okay. So you know Brooklyn. Okay.
Bedford Stuyvesant and Crown Heights was my stomping grounds.
That's where I'm at now. But Bed-Stuy don't look the same anymore.
I heard, and then Bushwick. I also grew up in Bushwick, and
I was
everybody
raised in
tells me
Bushwick. Where were you at?
on Schaefer Street.
Oh, I lived on Warefield Street and Wilson Avenue.
I actually, it was Cooper Street between Wilson and Knickerbocker.
I was right down the road.
Yeah, and then Schaefer Street between Wilson and Central.
Central.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Right there. My sister and my brother went to 287.
Okay.
Yeah. And I watched 384 right there at Wilson Avenue and Cooper Street. I watched it be built.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. And did you know anything about 296, Halsey?
That's it. My sister and see, I didn't go there. I went to Clara Barton.
Oh, okay.
We were living at that time, I think, ooh, no.
So we all grew up in the same grounds, but
Mm-hmm.
Brooklyn, I mean, New York can be,
It's rough.
yeah.
And seeing when I came up, Wilson Avenue was not the place to be. And they laugh, we joke. And I don't know if my husband understands this, but I say, Fifi, Fido, and Fluffy. At some point, I probably had them because I went to the Chinese restaurant. So, I know, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. All
Oh,
right.
did Joan answer?
No.
We
Oh.
talking about the motherhood, right? Mm. I wanted to say something about the husbands too. Okay, mom. Mine are now 28 and 24. I was interested to hear from both Yvette and Denise because their sons are now 40. I'm at the stage where they live home with us, but I know everything. And again, I have to step back and let them make their mistakes. No, we don't always see eye to eye on different things. As Joyce said, having to learn to be open on things that growing up, I wouldn't have seen myself allowing them to say or do. Well, no, not say, but things to do. My husband likes to say a lot of times, well, we wouldn't have done that. And I said, but we're the parents. And we're the ones that are not saying anything. We're watching them and we're like, we're the ones that aren't saying anything. So I have to put myself as part of the blame. But I know it's them growing up. It's just hard to watch. It's hard because in your head, you're like, no, I wouldn't do it that way.
And
How,
you
if
are.
they don't, how are they going to learn?
Mm-hmm.
It's like afterwards, you want to talk to me now? Maybe we can discuss it now, but having to learn how to step back and allow them to grow. It's been hard. That's been hard for me. Like we were saying earlier, when they're little, you're not in their heads, but you have more control. Then I remember, like in the teenage years, it's like if I could just get in their head and just know what they're thinking. But then
Should have had
someone
a
said
kid
to
like
me,
mine.
yeah, would you like your mom to be in your head? I'm like, nope. It's like, okay, I hear you. But
Mhm.
yeah, they're good. They're good men. And I'm saying that because they're not kids. Like I said, 28, 24. They're good men. Um, they're just learning how to navigate life. And yeah, they've had to sit down and mom, you can't say that or you can't. And I thought I was pretty well open and not
What is
tolerant,
my
but
phone?
understanding. But I don't know. It's like so many landmines
Mm,
out there. It's like you wind up stepping on them
mm.
before and you don't even, I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a learning thing.
And that's where I think Yvette said it, that they have so much to deal with. Was it Yvette or Denise? That they have so much to deal with. When we were growing up, it's A, B, or C.
Yep.
They have the whole
Alphabet
Yeah.
and some.
to
Yeah.
deal with, to know what each thing is, what this word is. Again, I talked to Atia and she'll throw out, we be talking about something and she'll throw out, oh, that's that. I'm like, what? And it's like, why does it have to have a name? Again, that's another thing I deal with, the naming of everything. And it's not them, but it's just the society names everything. Everything has to have a name now. And my conversations, why? Why does it have to have a name? This is what I was told. Because if you name something, you're better able to deal with it. If you name, this is, I know,
This is a
let's
blue apple.
exactly. Let's say this is a blue apple versus this is an apple. Then
Mhm.
we'll know, we'll get a better idea of maybe what the
What you're
apple
dealing
tastes
with.
like, what we're expecting from it. By naming it, by giving it a specific name, you're better able to manage it and treat it and all of that. Because my question was, why does everything have to have a name? Why do we have to pinpoint everything like that? Whereas
I'm old, y'all. I'm
we
old.
didn't do that.
I'm old.
That's
Well,
a lot of work.
it is. It
But
is
you,
a lot of
That's
work, huh?
I think also it gives it power.
When we give it a name like that.
It gives it relevance. It gives it power.
Mm.
See, my family's from Alabama, from lower Alabama. That's like what my mother and my aunts say, you speak things into existence.
a
And when you speak it, sometimes it's like, ugh, now you've got all of it. You've given this, whatever
Giving
this is, this
giving it
power.
life. Hmm.
And, but also, where these kids, where everything changed, I honestly, I'm willing to bet all of you will probably agree with me on this. Everything changed in our community when they decided to take our ability to discipline our children away
Yep,
from
yep,
us.
yep, 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 yep.
Yep, that's
Mhm,
when it happened.
mhm.
So I had to have that conversation with my son. And then once I had that conversation with my sons, I know he had it with his sons. There's a certain way because you are a young black male. There are certain things you can't say or do in public. If the police stop you, this is what you do. You keep your hands on the steering wheel. If they ask you what you break it down, you have to. And girls nowadays, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if your skin is of a different hue. This lady, she flat out told me, she was like, well, but you're like, I said, yeah, but I open my mouth and I give up the ghost.
Mhm.
There are different rules that we play by. So what do they do? I've got to teach you. I've got to teach you. I couldn't imagine. I could not imagine. Mm-mm, mm-mm. And they know when I'm in Alabama visiting, when I see them at night, it's different. Don't ask me how or why it's different, but it is. It just is. When I'm here in Kentucky and they're in Mobile, I don't worry about what time, when you make it in or what you're doing because I'm not there. But when I'm in Mobile and you leave me, call me, let me know you made it home.
Mhm. Mhm.
But that's
Need
because
to
I'm
know.
there. I
Mhm.
need, yes. But they still call my son and let him know when they've made it home.
That's good.
Yeah.
Because now it's habit.
Yes.
Mhm.
Muscle memory. Yeah. It's just different.
We're about halfway through part two, and I want to thank our listeners for staying with us. This is the kind of conversation I pray reaches the right ears at the right time. So I want you to go make some tea, stretch your legs, write something down if you were inspired by something we said, and send the link to a friend so they can listen as well. You don't want to miss the rest. How have transitions, career, relationships, life shifts shaped your perspective? How have transitions, career, relationships, life shifts shaped your perspective?
Career. I just realized a little bit of me. And this will go back to what I've been dealing with.
Mhm.
I just realized that I'm starting to go stir crazy working from home.
To the last part, when you're doing what?
Working from home.
Oh, did it?
Yeah, there's been a little, I've been, yeah, I've been having some issues going on, and there are some things that I've done that I hadn't been necessarily proud of
Mm-hmm.
because it's not me.
Mm-hmm.
And when I realize it, and it's like, oh, okay. But I knew that it was there and I could easily go to that extreme. I'll just say it like that. I, I've been drinking a little more than I normally would have. I say that because I'm comfortable in this situation. Okay. I'm comfortable with the people I'm sitting here with. It's been a little different. I think my sister probably said it best recently. She says, "You're bored." She said, "You are bored." I was like, "Oh, okay." Because I've said and done a couple of things, mm-mm, totally out of character. And now it's a matter of pull up your bootstraps and get this fixed because you're not in a bad place yet, but you're headed there.
Mm-hmm.
So work and this transition here, I've looked at it and I've actually put in a couple of other applications to work maybe part time outside of the house. Now, I ain't giving up my other job, the one from home. It's really a good position. I'm not ready to give that up, and I won't make that in rural Kentucky anywhere.
Mhm.
It's been hard. And I will say this, I think the worst thing for me with this transition and dealing with different things, I don't want my husband to look at me any different. So I know I've got to do something.
Yeah. But from the person that you spoke of him being, I can see him helping
Yeah, yeah.
and supporting you in doing things differently. From the person that you describe, it doesn't sound like he would. Oh my goodness, I understand it. I understand wholeheartedly where you're coming from. From the person you describe, I can't see him doing it.
No, I don't see him going anywhere. He
Mm-hmm.
ain't already flat out told me. Mm-mm. But I just, I don't like the idea that he has to deal with this.
Yeah, I get it.
Mm-mm. This ain't the trip he signed up for. So we gonna get off this ride.
If you want to do something, I think that's the huge first step when you want to do something.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. The first step is acknowledging that there's an issue. And that by
Yeah,
itself
okay. We gonna hold this conversation after.
is good.
Okay.
Let's
Um,
get back on. Let's get back.
I
And
would say, I'm sorry, go
go
ahead. No,
ahead.
no,
And
go
I
ahead.
just thank you, ladies. Yeah, you put me in good company, Joyce. Yeah.
I guess for me, I would say this transitioning, this COVID world kind of just turned my world upside down. And with all the different job changes and everything, I was doing three different jobs, all full time. Then I stopped doing anything. I was doing property management full time. I managed an Airbnb full time. I was real estate agent full time and a baker, and I did all of that, and now I'm absolutely doing nothing. So I think it has affected my mental state
Mm-hmm.
and the menopause and me not sleeping and not able to do the things that I was able to do. My husband too probably feels like, well, who is this person that I'm with right now? And it's probably challenging to him too, because one, that's the other thing. I'm not used to depending on anyone. And I don't like not having my own. In our culture, the man takes care of the bills and the woman keeps her paycheck. Well, that was good in the beginning, but now it's like I'm now totally depending on you and I'm not used to it. And it makes me not feel good
Mm-hmm.
because we will all laugh and Joyce and be like, oh yeah, she's high end. We had another sister, like she's high end, she's not so high end, but Denise, you got to spend money. So I like nice things and I like to spend. It's not that I think I'm above or anything, it's just that I like to spend what I like to spend on. And depending on someone does not make you feel good.
Mm-mm.
Not being able to find my way in this world now because I'm 60 something. Well, the question is now, do I want to get a job or do I not want to get a job? So then you're like stuck. And then I'm in this other transitioning where I'm ready to make a change with my quality of life. I live in Bed-Stuy, I own a brownstone. I'm grateful. I don't want to sound, because at some point I thought that I was signing ungrateful, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm ready for a change. I want a different kind of quality of life. I want to be a homeowner, but I want to have some space. I want to go outside and drink some tea. I want to be relaxed. I don't want to be high sprung like I was all the time. Pew, 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 all over the place. And now that I don't do absolutely nothing, I feel like I'm just fiddling, like dwindling away because I'm not being productive in anything. So that's why I said I have to do some self-love, just start learning to find out who I am. And I guess to give you a little backtrack is that I was a single mom, two children, and my mom was dementia. I took care of her. So I was busy around the clock. There was no time to figure out anything about, well, who you are, what you like, what you want to do, all that. You don't have time for that right now. And now I feel lost, which I don't think this younger generation do. They don't give their whole life to their children. I think some of
Mm-hmm.
us Black mothers, we give our whole life and then sometimes later we're bitter. So I'm trying not to, I don't feel bitter. I just feel like, okay, wait a minute. I need to figure out, well, what do you like? What do you don't like? Do you enjoy that? Do you find joy in that? So if you ask me right now, what do you find joy in? I'll be sitting here because I can't tell you. I don't know. But I do know it's going to happen. Some transformation is going to happen because I'm ready to make a move. I just don't know where I want to move.
Yeah.
So I'm ready for some changes. Some transitioning is definitely going on in everything, in every aspect of my life.
Hmm. Totally agree with both. It's just so interesting to hear. It's like, okay, I'm not the only one in this boat. I kind of had to, I guess, face the transitions. I used to work. I don't anymore. My mom passed about 3 years now. And when she was going through the end of her life, I was working. But then it came a time right at the time that she passed, I guess it was that year, that I was no longer working. And the way it happened was, oh, yeah, by the way, you won't be coming back. We decided to go another way. Trying to learn to accept that. Then my husband got sick. Because I wasn't working, I was able to go with him to the doctors and do all that kind of stuff. And that was fine. Then when he got better, it's like, okay, you've been out of work for 2 years now. I had my 65th birthday in September. I'm 60. Who's going to want to hire me, especially with all the scary stories you hear out there? And then I didn't know what I want to do. I still don't really think I know what I want to do. So if you don't know what you want to do, where are you going? What what direction do you even begin to start in? It finally hit me that you've been through a lot in the last several years. I was at the doctor's office and it was the nurse practitioner. She was talking with me and asking me questions. And that's when I realized, because I'm sitting in the office crying. I'm like, where are these tears coming from? She said gently, sometimes maybe you just need to find someone to speak to, talk about profession with. Like I looked and I laughed. I didn't get mad with her though, because I'm like, look at you. Where'd this come from? I have to sit down and look at myself, look at where I am. I finally hit the button to do retirement or Social Security. In a way, part of that is off, that the pressure of trying to figure out where to go and what to do is off. Oh, got to do it now. But I still want to get out the house and start doing something again. I still don't know exactly what it is, but I don't feel the pressure to have to do it tomorrow. If I don't look tomorrow, oh my gosh, you didn't look. I don't feel that now. I've realized that we're in a different space and time. And I only have to say the way that I know how to say it. God healed my marriage last month, October 24th. In my looking or thinking about looking, my thought was this: wow, what if that's not what you're supposed to be doing? I'm like, no, that can't be the answer. You got to work. Everybody's got to work. I believe that we're in a new place in learning each other. He's been retired for a minute, so it's like, oh, wow. If y'all want to go somewhere, you can actually do that. The kids are older or they're grown, so it's not like we have to pack them up and take them too. It's a different place, and don't I don't know where it's going. I feel like it's going in a good direction, but to know where, I have no clue. And it makes me have to rely on God in His direction. I want to go where He wants us to go. There was always a vision I had for a marriage, my marriage, but that seemed like it was never going to happen. But now I actually have, I don't want to say visions, but ideas and thoughts, and oh, maybe we could do this. Maybe we could actually do this. And I'm excited for that. I feel more excited than I do pressure at this moment because I feel like I have given it to God and saying, okay, where you want us to go, show us. I can sit and be patient until that does happen. He's got to find that part too, because right now he wants to stir the ship. He's got this idea, he's got that idea, and I'm sitting and I'm like, I don't know about that. But if God says, gives me confirmation, that's where he wants us, that's the direction, I'm like, okay, I'm good. I can do that. But we're learning each other again. When you all were talking about husbands earlier, when we met, I was doing my own thing. Independence has always been my problem. And he wanted to come visit, and I'm like, no, because I have to do this, I have to buy that, I have to. He's like, no. He said, when I get there, we'll go to the grocery store, get the groceries and things that you needed. And he kept talking. I'm like, wait a minute, what? No, that's not. That's not. That's not what people do. But that's what he did, and I had to learn how to accept that. Like you were saying, Denise, I told my mom, I said, but he rules like with an iron fist. And she just looked. I know, but I don't need somebody to be that strong because he's a big guy too. And you can't push him. If he's made up his mind and that's what it is. And it's like, oh no, I'm not used to that. I gotta, and I couldn't do it. But I do understand that if I could have, it would have been over. Because in my mind, oh, you're pushover. I can do what I want to do too. So he had to be that person. And yeah, you said God gives us the person that's going to help us with our issues. And I guess that was part of what was going on too. That was a difficult time though. Because I'm like, is this what marriage is? Oh no, I don't know. I don't know how to get through this. But we did. We did. But yeah, I'm in transition in a lot of ways. But I'm getting okay with it. And I think that's the biggest part. I'm getting okay with it.
It said, is that what marriage is? Wow. I've been married 31 years and a half, 31 and a half years. And it was, gosh, rough, rough initially, because you have these two people, like Denise said, you have these two people trying to come together to be one. And if we, both parties, are not willing to submit, then it's going to be friction. And I grew up again, I knew where my father was, but he wasn't in the household. So I had this mother, this strong aunt raising us. And and I don't know if my mother ever said, I don't think I ever heard her say about she didn't need a man, anything like that, but she showed me that she could do it because she did it. She raised 6 children with the help of her mother and her sister. Again, women raising us. You have that mindset of that strength. And when you come together with a man, then you have to submit some of that. You just do. Because you want him to take care of you. You want him to maintain everything. You want that no matter how strong we say we are or how independent we say we are. We want that man of ours to just take care of all of our needs. We want it. And we have to come to terms with that and even admit that. When my husband, when we agreed that I would stay home with my daughter, I was the happiest person because that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to stay home with my daughter. And it was a struggle financially. We struggled for many, many, many years, but we struggled together and we knew what we had and what we could do with it. And then when I went back to work, He still didn't ask for anything. It was my money. Like Yvette said, her money went to her account. My money still goes to my account.
Transition.
But I help out now. Not that I didn't help out before, but definitely since we purchased the house, I help out a lot more now because I want to take some of the burden off of him because he's been carrying it pretty much on his own for so long that I want to help him now. That's the relationship. But it's funny, I'm not sure how I got there because that's not what I wanted to talk about with the transition. I wanted to deal with life shifts because a lot of my family members have passed on just within these past 9 years. It's just been too many of them. I've kind of had to reckon with not so much why, because I believe that nothing happens without God's permission, but just having to deal with these people who I've known all of my life for the most part, just not being here anymore. And that's like a constant thought. That's the life shift that has changed my perspective. And my perspective is you got to love your people now because you never know when they're not going to be with you. Any way I can show love, and sometimes showing love or saying things comes is out of my comfort zone. But I realize I have to come out of that comfort zone to let people know how I feel about them. As you can hear, I'm getting emotional. It's just me missing my people. That's all. I'll leave it there.
And saying that, Joyce, you're absolutely right. I've lost a lot of people as well, and it makes you more appreciative, makes you have gratitude, makes you reassess life. Everybody show up for the funeral. We don't see each other until the funeral. And we all say again, oh, let's not make this the next time we see each other. And what we do, we go back to the way we know. I think it's working each and every day, showing up and showing more love to one another now, not tomorrow, now. And I guess the other thing that I think I forgot the question was before, but it's this thing on past, future, and present. I recognize my strength in the past. So I tend to go back to the past. I used to do this. I held down 3 jobs. I had the strength to do this. Then I am a person that likes to prepare. As single moms, you got to get things in order. You got to know what's this. So I'm always thinking of the future. But I am never living in the present. Well, I've spent much of my life in the past and the future, but never in the present moment.
Mm.
That is really not living. Although I've been on 60 years, I really haven't been living life, technically. And I'm just going to read something I had just printed up before Joyce had sentence, and it said, the present, action and being. It said, what it is, the only moment that truly exists, happening right now between the past and the future. Role where life is lived, where you can feel, act, and experience directly. Key idea, being present means focusing on immediate sensations, actions, and gratitude, rather than being lost in mental chatter about what was or what might be. And that is how I've been, what was and what I got to do. Oh, I don't have time for that right now because I got to prepare for this. It's little things. What was it? Oh, I'll give you an example. My husband and I was riding in the car. Our wedding song came on. He's trying to talk about, he's like, you hear that song? And I'm like, yeah, yeah. So what do I do? Because I'm always thinking the future. I said, so have I been fulfilling that? Do you feel I give you that? He's like, you just killed the whole, I'm trying to embrace the moment. What are you doing? I'm like trying to examine things. Have we met those needs in each other? Do I fit this? And he's looking at me like, Dad, like I just killed his whole. And I do that a lot because I'm always either in the past or I'm either in the future trying to I gotta save money. I gotta get this right. I gotta do this. I gotta. And because I don't know what tomorrow holds, let me embrace the very moment that I'm living now. And I think I just wanted to leave on that note because I really need to work on that.
How do we maintain hope, faith, and joy through life's challenges?
What I just said. So I'm not going to answer that question. That's how I'm going to do mine, through not living in the past, the future. I want to live in the present.
I think for the most part, I do live in the present. One of the things that before my little issue, I figured out something. And one of the things on my Facebook, I like me. I finally got to the place where I like me. I like the person that I am. I like the woman that I am. A few tweaks and I'll have that fixed. I'm not worried about it. But for the most part, I genuinely like me. One of the things I have on my signature on my email, it says it's not what they call you, but what you answer to. And I'm not answering outside my name. I have finally come to that conclusion. I like me. There's room for improvement. For the most part, I'm good. I'm good. For a long time, I didn't like me because in our community, colorism is real. My best cousin, she was too dark, I was too light. How does that work? I was the fast one, or so they thought. In reality, I really wasn't. I realize now a lot of folks was doing stuff I was only thinking about. I like me. For so many years, I was trying to figure out how to become someone that I could like. And I think I got it. I think I got it.
Good, good.
Mm.
And that's important because there's so many things that tell us in life not to like who we are or not to accept who we are. We supposed to be this or we supposed to be that.
You're not enough.
Exactly. When we get to love ourselves, it's
Mhm.
huge. It should definitely be celebrated that we are loving on ourselves, loving who we are, loving ourselves with all of our faults.
Mhm.
We have to love who we are because we're not perfect. We're
Mm-mm.
not perfect, and we will probably never be perfect. We can be the best us, and that's the goal, to be the best us.
I heard a question recently and it says, "Who told you that?" And the funny thing about it was I saw it one day and then a couple of days later somebody was talking about it. And I'm like, wow, who told you that?
Mhm.
So all the things that we think about, the negative things that we think we are or whatever, who told you that? Because being honest, and we all can relate to this, if God didn't say it, then it ain't so.
See? See?
Hmm.
And it is so, I don't know. Life is so hard when you don't like who you are.
I can imagine.
It gets harder when you don't like who you are.
Hmm.
And I just absolutely refuse to be defined by what you think of me.
Hmm.
I, mm-mm, I ain't gonna do it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Growing up, we were conditioned, and maybe not in our earliest years, but probably when we started getting to be tweens and teens and 20s, it became this campaign of self hate. Because in the 70s, well, they may have been doing it before I was born, but in the 70s, that's when the Black Power came out, and we went back to the natural hair. And then all of a sudden, again, I don't know when relaxers became this big thing
Amen.
in our community, but now we got to straighten our hair. And we wasn't straightening our hair because that was our hair. We were straightening it because we were told that was beauty, that
Mhm.
represented beauty.
Mhm.
You know what I figured out? Here we are, we're putting these caustic chemicals on our scalps, burning our heads, straightening our hair to roll it up.
to give him that curls.
Yes, think about it. It's like, and somebody said something, and I wrote a paper on this. My college professor, she actually told me, my English professor, she told me, you should get this published.
Mm.
One of the things was, as Black women, we're the only ones that didn't know how to do our own hair as it grew out of our heads because somebody told us we weren't enough.
Yeah.
And Joan goes back to that. Who told you that? Yeah. Hmm.
When I got 50, I made a decision to do something with my hair. And a friend of mine gifted me the locks. I had been looking around at everybody, and every time I saw somebody sitting in front of me, you didn't know whether they were a Black woman or a white woman because their hair was straight. I want somebody to know who I am when they see me from behind.
Yes.
That was when I finally decided, okay, yeah, I'm going to do that. And it's not been a decision that I've ever looked back on.
Mm.
I wish I had did it when all my hair was still black. I didn't want that's what I was seeing. Culture being told, our women being told, hair's got to be straight. The hair's got to be straight. I didn't want to be a part of that.
My thing I couldn't get with when I went natural was every white woman I saw wanted to touch my
Touch your
hair.
hair.
Get out of here. Don't touch my hair.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know where your hands have been. And I worked in corrections.
Mm.
So
It
it
could have
was
been
like
anywhere.
I worked in visits, so that'll let you know I sent so many people back in the bathroom to wash their hands.
Mm.
Well, I'm a germaphobe.
We had the awesome opportunity to ask our spouses and our children a question or two. Anyone want to share?
My son, my mister, his question was, what is a memory of your mother's friendships that shaped your view on relationships? He pointed something out to me. I say how small my circle was.
Mm.
My son, from the time when we left New York up until even to this point, my son was able to tell me, he said, Mom, I keep my circle small. I
Mm.
said, what do you mean? He said, I don't want everybody at my house. I was like, why? He said, because, Ma, do you know you have had 5 friends that I saw on the regular come to your house?
Hmm.
I was like, what?
Interesting.
He said, my friend Donna, my friend Pat, Margot, my friend Terry, and he said it was one other person, and I can't remember who else he said, but I don't think it was even 5. But here's the sad thing of it, y'all. 3 of them are gone.
Mm.
Three of them, 3 of them I've lost.
Mm-hmm.
Only one was older than I am.
Mm.
He said, you keep your circle small and you love hard.
Mm.
And when you're a friend, you're a friend. You just be a real friend. And that was the thing he learned. My husband, I was like, what? For real? I asked him, what's a lesson he's learned from his marriage that you carry into other areas of your life? He said to be able to work together, not to rely on himself, and to
Mm.
have an open mind. My husband, he's the baby of 8. So he likes our house with it just the two of us.
Small circle.
Yes, he likes the small circle. And then the other one was, what's one way that marriage has surprised you or inspired you? He says he's been inspired um, to venture out and explore and to become closer to God.
Huge.
I was like, what? I
That's
did that for you? Say what? For real? And I didn't see myself like that. Okay, John, you're right. All right. Okay. Yeah, you're right.
that's
Okay.
This is from my son. And the question was, what is a memory of your mother's friendships that shape your view of friendships? And he wrote down, relationships can be tiresome and draining in some moments. My mother has done a great job of keeping her stamina within them. So there isn't a specific memory that comes to mind, but in all her friendships, I see her constantly show up, even in times when I don't feel like she has to. So it helps me view my friendships more as a journey that takes lasting power than something short, fleeting, and resource based. I was totally shocked by that. I was like, oh,
Wow.
wow.
Yeah.
And my husband, what's one way your marriage has surprised or inspired you? He said, my marriage has taught me the value of individualism, that a person's characteristics are uniquely theirs, are in the truth not theirs at all, but are an expression of God.
wow.
And
Mm.
then he said, my marriage has inspired me to be better today than yesterday.
Okay.
That's good.
I
Okay.
was, yeah, I was totally shocked. Like, okay.
I asked Atia the question, what is a memory of your mother's friendships that shaped your view of relationships? Before I answer, Atia has always, she was just so proud to say that she don't talk on the phone. I don't talk on the phone. We don't talk on the phone like her generation. We don't talk on the phone. We do texting over there. Her response to the question was, you being on the phone for hours at a time with one of your friends, sometimes just existing with one another. It's interesting that she said that because as of late, maybe the past month or so, there's this one friend that she's been on the phone with all the time. And it's like she's mimicking what I did.
She's channeling you.
So they're doing all this stuff. They're doing everything they're supposed to be doing. Now, this is from somebody who prided herself on not being on the phone. And they're constantly on the phone. She's probably on the phone with her now. Okay. I didn't ask my husband the question, so sorry. Joan?
I did ask my husband, which is new for me, because my original response before would have been, I'm not asking that. He's not going to answer that. No, no, no. But I asked him, and he said that he learned how to be resilient. He learned how to stick things through, not to easily give up on things. Because, truth be told, if he had decided to give up, we would have been done a long time ago. To hear him say that he learned how to stick things the hard times. Whoa, okay. And my sons, Joshua is my oldest, he said that, he says, well, like I told you before, my friend's on the phone. He said, I only remember two. He said, I think two people, and that's Annette and Michelle. Both of them, when he was little, they were around, and both of them have passed. But to see the loyalty, to see us walking through life with each other. Because I was on the phone. I didn't say Charlene. Charlene lived in California. We were on the phone. He remembers us being on the phone all the time. And Jeremiah said that he learned how to be loyal with his friends. He took that from what he saw from me.
Okay.
But
So
yeah, I was afraid to ask those questions, but I was really surprised. and pleased with the answers.
Why afraid?
To hear what the response would have been, not knowing what the response would have been, and then not knowing if they would answer the question. So they
Okay.
surprised me. Mm-hmm.
I waited. I didn't give my daughter the question until I think last week.
Mm-hmm.
And I never gave my husband the question. One,
Why?
for the same reason, just not thinking he would answer. Then I thought about it again. I thought about it a few times today. I would have had to call him while he was at work to ask him. And I said, well, no, I won't.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then,
Sometimes we got to step out there. I'm telling myself that. And we'll be surprised. We
yeah,
will be
yeah.
surprised.
See, I didn't worry about my husband answering.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't sure what my son's answer would be. I didn't think he was paying attention.
Exactly.
I really didn't. He
Mm-hmm.
was like, Ma, you only had this many people coming. Then he said, what about your friend in New York? You still have her. He knows that.
They paid more attention than we realized. Because I told Josh, you were so young to give me the answer that he gave me. He said, oh, well, I realize that now. I understand. Okay, I can accept that.
What that says is that they're taking stuff in and they may not be able to articulate it until it comes up years and years later.
Later.
Because I still be on the phone for hours.
I'm
But
on the phone with her daughter now for hours. And he's mentioned that. He said, the friend that you had with the daughter? I'm like, what are you talking about? Now I'm on the phone with her daughter.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I was like, Joyce, every time we get on the phone, why are we on the phone for hours? And can talk about stuff and don't talk about the same thing over and over again.
yeah.
But I like that.
That's because we are evolving. And as we evolve, our topic of conversation can evolve. And even if we talk about the same topic, it could be a different aspect of it.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
that's why we can be on the phone for hours and and not get bored with the fact that we're on
Yeah.
the phone.
Yeah.
So that's good.
And
As I
then you all are in two different areas, and that makes a big difference too.
and I haven't seen Yvette since I don't even know.
Wow.
Joan, when you were saying earlier how we don't see each other, mind you, Joan literally lives less than a half an hour from me. We're in the same county. We are in the same county. Okay.
Yep.
But see, now here's the thing, Joan.
Mm-hmm.
She does not remember when my mother passed in 2012.
Okay.
Before that, my mother came home to New York. She was in New York. That's a whole nother story. She came and stayed with me, and she stayed with me for almost a year. She came, she went and stayed with my sister
Mm-hmm.
in New York. She wasn't there 24 hours. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And she had to go into a rehab thing because she was a below the knee amputee. Joyce still
Okay.
remember coming to visit me.
I know.
She came to see me at the nursing home where my mother was.
Wow.
I remember walking around to the elevator and seeing her.
Yes.
She was like, I don't remember that.
I don't remember. I don't. Maybe I don't remember it because it was just something I was supposed to do. It wasn't something
It
that
didn't stand out
I
to you, but it stood out to
exactly because I was just being there. So maybe that's why I don't remember it.
Because I remember I came and I saw her. I know I saw her.
Yvette.
I do still know people in New York, but I don't have very many friends still in New York. People that I consider friend.
Mm-hmm.
That one right there who don't even remember coming to see me.
Denise, Joan, and Yvette, I thank you. This conversation has been very enlightening. I thank you for being so open and honest with your responses, sharing your personal experiences, your personal thoughts, your personal feelings with the world. To our listeners, thank you for being here. I hope part two invites you to reflect on the friendships that have shaped you and the conversations you may be overdue to have. Here are my questions to you. Who in your life allows you to show up as your full self without needing to adjust who you are? How has having that person in your life impacted you? And when was the last time you told them what they mean to you? If something landed close to your heart, made you stop, made you nod in agreement, let it stay with you. Let that moment of recognition sharpen you like iron. Take it into your week, your prayers, your quiet places. This is Words on a Higher Note, where reflection meets elevation, where grace meets growth, where personal evolution is not rushed, but embraced, honored, and celebrated. FYI, these are not rehearsed answers. Everyone received an overview of what would be discussed during the series, but they did not receive the exact questions. Until next time, keep listening for the higher note. Say, be, and it is. Portions of this reflection were recorded separately, and the audio was edited for a smoother listening experience. You may have noticed differences as you listened, and that is okay. The heart of the conversation remained the same.